It's Thursday night, and it's time for Uptown Bills Live. Tonight, we don't have open mic. We have something special. It's Bob Dylan's 77th birthday. So we invited local musicians to sign up to sing a couple of Dylan songs or to present Dylan's work as spoken word. After all, he won the Pulitzer Prize in literature, so must be pretty good as spoken word, right? Yeah. All right. So Uptown Bills is named for Bill Sachter, who's the man in the picture behind me with the beard. Bill came to Iowa City in the 1970s. He'd spent most of his life in a state institution for people with disabilities in Minnesota. He came with a young couple, Barry and Bev Morrow. Barry's the guy with the tie in the picture. And a little coffee shop grew up as a place for Bill to work. The coffee shop was and still is in North Hall on the university campus. Barry thought, well, this is working out pretty well. I'm going to write a story about Bill's life and what's happened, particularly in the years since he came to Iowa City. The story became a screenplay for a movie, and this picture behind me is a promotional picture for that first film. Mickey Rooney played Bill, and that's a young Dennis Quaid up in the corner, played Barry. There was a second film after that, which also included Helen Hunt playing a University of Iowa student, and an unknown musician who was playing in the clubs in Houston by the name of Lyle Lovett. Part of the film was filmed in and near Houston. So if you look at the second film, for example, it's supposed to be Southern California, but those of you who know your flora and fauna will look at those plants and say, that's not LA. That looks like Texas. And it's much more tropical looking plants. Anyway, shortly after the second film was done, Bill died, but the coffee shop stayed, and it's still there. And we're the crosstown or community cousin. The bigger, badder Bills, one night I said. So we have a number of different projects going on, including, of course, the coffee shop, and the performance venue, a used bookstore. And we have, over time, started and graduated a number of small businesses, including a vintage shop, a furniture refinishing business, a music store, and also several online businesses. One of our people who began with our online businesses has just been hired by Goodwill as an e-commerce specialist. So that's Gretchen Kench. So we're pretty excited about that. And we're always looking for new things. Our newest effort is actually a radio station. And we're going to put the antenna on top of ecumenical towers. And we have to have something on the air at some point in June at this time, according to the FCC. So something will be being broadcast. And the full broadcast schedule is expected by fall. Anyway, yeah. All of these fit in with our mission of including people of all abilities in work and volunteering and art and music and so forth. So, but tonight we have our Dylan night. And Dylan was born in 1941 in Duluth, Minnesota. His parents moved to Hibbing when he was about 7 years old, and they lived there. Well, they lived there for the rest of their lives, but Bob lived there through high school. So we're going to hear first tonight from the Gentlemen Callers. Some of you have may seen them, and I was saying to them that they there was a special prepared by PATV from one of their shows, and it's been running now for what, like 5 years? It just keeps running. So long after they're gone, they'll be remembered on on Channel 18 and elsewhere. Yeah, it shows up every week or two. Huh. So just Gentlemen Callers is all it says in the TV log. All right, please welcome Gentlemen Callers.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh no. We're the Gentlemen Caller. We're here to holler. Arr.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Alleys, through the blinds, another one of them endless days. Honeybees are buzzing, leaves begin to stir. I'm in love with my second cousin. I tell myself I could be happy forever with her. Listening for footsteps, but I ain't hearing any. From the boat I fish for bullheads, I catch a lot, sometimes too many. Summer breeze is blowing, squall is settling in. Sometimes it's just plain stupid to get into any kind of wind. Well, some of the old men around here, they get on bad terms, sometimes with the younger men. Old young age don't carry much weight. You know that don't matter much in the end. One of the boss's hangers-on sometimes comes to call, times when you least expect. Tries to bully you, strong-arm you, inspire you with fear, has the opposite effect. There's a new grove of trees on the outskirts of town, old ones are long gone. 2-6 across, burns with the bark still on. They say times are hard. If you don't believe it, you can follow your nose. Don't bother me none, you know that times are hard everywhere. I guess we're all gonna just have to see how it goes. You know my old man, he's like some feudal lord, got more lives than a cat. Never seen him quarrel with my mama, not even once. I guess things just come alive or else they fall flat. You can smell the pine wood burning, you can hear that school bell ring. Better sit up close to the teacher if you ever want to learn anything. Romeo, he said to Juliet, you know you got a pale complexion, that doesn't give you the appearance of having that youthful touch. Juliet said back to Romeo, you know you can just buzz off if it bothers you so much. You know they all got out of here any way they could. Cold rain gave them the shivers. They went down the Ohio, the Cumberland, the Tennessee, all the rest of them rebel rivers. If you ever interfere with me or try to cross my path again, you do so at the peril of your own life. I'm not quite as cool or forgiving as I sound. Maybe I've seen enough heartache and strife. My grandfather was a duck trapper. He could do it with just dragnets and ropes. My grandma used to sew new dresses out of old cloth. I don't know if they had any dreams or hopes. I had them once, so I suppose. Go with all those Christmas carols on Christmas Eve. I left them dreams and hopes buried underneath tobacco leaves. It's not always easy kicking somebody out. You gotta wait a while, it can be an unpleasant task. But sometimes somebody just wants you to give something up. And tears are not, it's just too much to ask.
Sorry about the background vocals. I kind of forgot. I forgot what the microphone's here for.
You think you could have crammed more words in that one? I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm supposed to do background vocals. That's right. Fail here.
There you go. Okay. Beautiful.
Now we're going to do this other one.
Yeah, we're going to do one more.
I forgot how this goes.
You'll remember it. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right.
We're doing. We do the new. We like new Dylan. Speaking of Dylan, these are both from 2000s, so that's new. Like 15 years old.
The Century.
Yeah. Sad heart is yearning to hear that songbird's sweet melodious tone. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? Air is thick and heavy all along the levee. Into the countryside have flown. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? The air is thick and heavy all along that levee. Geese into that countryside have flown. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? Well, I believe in peace and harmony, blessings of tranquility, but I know when the time is right to strike. I'll take you across that river, dear. You've no need to linger here. I know the kinds of things you like. Clouds are turning crimson, leaves are falling from the limbs, and branches cast the shadows over stone. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? The boulevards of cypress trees, the masquerade of birds and bees, the petals pink and white, the wind has blown. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? The trailing moss and misty glow, the purple blossoms soft as snow. My tears keep flowing to the sea. Doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, takes a thief to catch a thief. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, my friend, it tolls for thee. Oh, pulses running through my palm. Sharp hills are rising from yellow fields with twisted oaks that groan. Won't you meet me out in the moonlight all alone? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We're the Gentlemen Callers, and we appreciate you listening.
First things, get stuff out.
All right, Gentlemen Callers there. Alec is up next, but we'll wait a minute till they get their belongings off the stage. When I grew up also in Minnesota, actually in Minneapolis, but on winter nights you could listen to radio stations all over the country. Every once in a while you could listen to one from San Francisco or New York, but mostly it was the Midwest and all the way down to Louisiana. And Bob Dylan remembered a particular station in Shreveport, Louisiana, that he really liked. There weren't any rock stations in Minnesota until 1962 or 63, something like that. So he had to look elsewhere. The one that I listened to when I was little was in Little Rock, Arkansas, KARK. And there were others too, but that really had an influence on his musical growth, if you will. And he was in a couple of bands in high school. And I think in his high school yearbook he said he wanted to play with Little Richard. That was his hope someday. All right, I think we've got room and we've got Alec, so come on up and let's see what we can do for you. Are you going to plug in or plug in? Okay. You may not.
Just all over the place, aren't we?
Well, that's a little light if you want to play.
Oh, no.
Give us a little strum there.
All right. That's a tough one to follow up. They did the two songs off probably what I think is Bob Dylan's best album, Love and Theft, or at least my favorite. And I'm going to do one off of one of his arguably worst albums. I'm going to do a song called The Mighty Quinn, Quinn the Eskimo. It's off the Self-Portrait, I think it's called. And like I said, a lot of people don't think it's very good, but I really enjoy it. It's kind of endearing in its own ways. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah. Everybody's building the big ships and their boats. Some are building monuments, and others are jotting down notes. Everybody's in despair, every girl and boy. But when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, everybody's gonna jump for joy. Come all without, come all within. You've not seen nothing like the mighty Quinn. Come all without, come all within. You've not seen nothing like the mighty Quinn. I like to go just like the rest. I like my sugar sweet, but garden fumes and making haste just ain't my cup of meat. Everyone is beneath the trees, feeding pigeons on the limb. But when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, all the pigeons gonna flock to him. Come all without, come all within. You've not seen nothing like the mighty Quinn. Come all without,
and the beginning.
Thanks, Tom.
That's Alec Lang, relatively new around here, but a good songwriter. And if you come on other Thursday nights, you might find him introducing a song or two to us. We do something every Thursday nights. This began back in 2002 with J.P. Clausen and Rick Vornbrock, who started something called the Unsung Forum. It was for songwriters to share new songs. And then it grew into an open mic. It moved to Friday nights. And then after we moved here in 2010, it moved back to Thursday nights. So here we are. Jamie is next. And he's got a smaller instrument here. Was it, you put it in the dryer?
Yeah.
Was that Hammond? All right.
And this does not plug in.
Okay, so we'll... Okay, and let's...
All right. Okay.
I'll get some...
Okay. Hello, my name is Jamie. My pronouns are she and her. And I decided to bring my mandolin today. I've played this first song here before on guitar, and it's one I'm sure everyone knows. It's called Blowing in the Wind. And I try to sing it like Bob Dylan. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see? Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up until he can see the sky? Yes, and how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. That is really bad on your sinuses, I tell you. Now, this next song I'm going to sing normal. This song was made a hit by Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower, but it was written by Bob Dylan. Okay. There must be some way out of here, said the joker to the thief. There's too much confusion, can't get no relief. Businessmen, they drink my wine, plowmen dig my earth. None of them along the line know what any of it's worth. No need to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. You and me, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. So do not go talking falsely now. The hour's getting late. All along the watchtower, princes kept their view, while the women came and went, barefoot servants too. Outside in the cold distance, a wild cat did growl. Two riders were approaching, and the wind began to howl. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Bill's family was Jewish, and his grandparents and thousands of other Jewish families, Jewish individuals and families came from Eastern Europe and Russia in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. As did Bill's parents, our Bill, and they settled all over the country. And in the Midwest, there were very small Jewish communities here and there, so few in most towns that there weren't enough people to support a full-time rabbi. So, for example, when Bob had his bar mitzvah, they had to bring in a rabbi from someplace else. I'm not sure. I think the only Midwest towns at that time who had full-time rabbis would be Minneapolis and Des Moines. So I remember once when I was in college going to a Jewish wedding in Fargo, and partway there we realized we didn't have the invitation. These are friends of ours, and I just remembered a couple of things. One, that it was at a downtown hotel, and that Fargo only had a part-time rabbi. So I figured, well, if there was a Jewish wedding in downtown Fargo, chances are everybody would know where it was. And sure enough, we called the first hotel, and they said, no, it's not here, but it's at the other one. So, and one more example of how small the Jewish communities were, there's a book about growing up Jewish in the upper Midwest, and it's called Prairie Dogs Weren't Kosher. So, all right, let's see, Eric is next here. Eric's been perusing Bob's writings, and he's got some things for us here. Come on up. right, we'll move this one out of the way. Okay. Would you like that music stand? Or?
No, this is fine.
Okay.
Right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to, I'm going to approach Dylan like that, the whole thing of him getting the Nobel Prize in Literature. And this book came out basically because of that honor. And just no music, it's just the words. You know, if you got the Nobel Prize for Literature, there should be a book, right? So you might be interested in it. It's 100 songs, and it's from all different eras of his career. It was interesting to read. I never really followed Dylan too much past about the mid-'70s, so it was interesting. I didn't have any music associated with some of the later ones, so it was kind of like reading poetry. But I'm going to read most of, I guess, Visions of Johanna, which came off Blonde After Blonde, I think, about 1967. Ain't it just like the night to play tricks when you're trying to be so quiet? We sit here stranded, though we're all doing our best to deny it. And Louise holds a handful of rain, tempting you to defy it. Lights flicker from the opposite loft. In this room, the heat pipes just cough. The country music station plays soft, but there's nothing, really nothing to turn off. Just Louise and her lover so entwined in these visions of Johanna that conquer my mind. In the empty lot where the ladies play blind man's bluff with the keychain, and the all-night girls, the whisper of escapades out on the D train, we can hear the night watchman click his flashlight, ask himself if it's him or them that's really insane. Louise, she's all right, she's just near, she's delicate, it seems like the mirror, but she just makes it all too concise and too clear that Johanna is not here. The ghost of electricity howls in the bones of her face, where these visions of Johanna have now taken my place. Inside the museums, infinity goes on trial. Voices echo. This is what salvation must be like after a while. But Mona Lisa must have had the highway blues. You can tell by the way she smiles. See the primitive wallflower freeze when the jelly-faced women all sneeze. Hear the one with the mustache say, geez, I can't find my knees. Jewels and binoculars hang from the head of the mule, but these visions of Johanna, they make it all seem so cruel. The peddler now speaks to the countess who's pretending to care for him, saying, name me someone that's not a parasite, and I'll go out and say a prayer for him. But like Louise always says, you can't look at much, can you, man? As she herself prepares for him, and Madonna, she still has not showed, we see this empty cage now corrode, where her cape of the stage once had flowed. The fiddler, he now steps to the road. He writes everything's been returned which was owed on the back of the fish truck that loads while my conscience explodes. The harmonicas play, the skeleton keys, and the rain, and these visions of Johanna are now all that remain. Thank you.
Thank you. It has a whole different feel that way. Let's see. Drew is next. Where is Drew? So, oh, there he is. Okay, come on up, and we'll. I don't know. Some kind of chair dance going on over here. I don't think the camera can see that, but maybe there should be music with it. All right. Are you going to plug in, or okay?
Well, I think most people probably have an artist who they go to either to lift them up when you're down, or to make you laugh, or just to feel better about life in general. And for as long as I can remember, that's been Bob Dylan. So I always look forward to this night each year to celebrate Bob. And this is one from his very first album, and it's one of two that he wrote on that album. It's called Song to Woody. Well, I'm out here 1,000 miles from my home, walking a road other men have gone down. I'm seeing your world of people and things, your paupers and peasants and princes and kings. Hey, hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you a song about a funny old world that's coming along. Seems sick and it's hungry, it's tired and it's torn. It looks like it's a dying and it's hardly been born. Hey, Woody Guthrie, but I know that you know all the things I'm saying and many a time more. I'm singing the song, but I can't sing enough, 'cause there's not many men who've done the things that you've done. Here's to Cisco and Sonny and Leadbelly too, and all the good people who traveled with you. Here's to the hands and the hearts of the men who come with the dust and are gone with the wind. Well, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I could leave today, somewhere down the road someday. The very last thing that I'd want to do is to say I've been hitting some hard traveling too. Thank you. So this one, fast forward about 6 or 7 years, and Bob had a motorcycle accident right after kind of the crazy genius of Blonde on Blonde, and then he kind of mellowed out a bit and did some more country flavored stuff. And this is one off of his more country kind of albums. It's called "I'll Be Your Baby Tonight." Close the door. You don't have to worry anymore. I'll be your baby tonight. Shut the light, shut the shade. You don't have to be afraid. I'll be your baby tonight. Well, that mockingbird's gonna sail away. We're gonna forget it. Big fat moon's gonna shine like a spoon, and we're gonna let it. You won't regret it. Kick your shoes off. Do not fear. Bring that bottle over here. I'll be your baby tonight. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Scared me for a moment there. Like you're going to leave with the court.
Oh, yeah. Probably would. Walk off and pull back.
Snap back.
Yeah.
We need elastic on those.
Do that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We were talking about what happens when you leave the stage with the cord still plugged in, the various possibilities. So, Nathan, there's going to be room for you. So, a few moments from now. Next up are Greg and Jean, and while they're getting themselves ready, I wanted to say Bob moved to Minneapolis in 1959 to go to the University of Minnesota. And first he lived in the Jewish fraternity house near campus, and then he moved into a neighborhood called Dinkytown. And there's a discussion about what it came from, and it's thought that it came from the streetcars that went from between the two campuses of the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and they were called Dinkies. Anyway, so this little neighborhood, and he lived, after he left the fraternity, he lived above a drugstore, Gray's Drug. If you go there now, it's the Loring Pasta Bar. But it was a drugstore for many, many years. And there are a number of early songs that I'm sure he composed while living there. Positively 4th Street, that's the street right in front of where he lived. And a number of other things as well. So, and that's the name of the book, by the way, we're giving away tonight. And maybe now's the moment we could give away something. Maybe the book? We'll give away the book? All right, we've got a book and some CDs too. Maybe we'll give away a couple things, and then we'll give away some more later. All right, this is Maya here, who's here every week organizing the drawing for us. Here she is.
Okay, so the first CD we're going to give away is New Morning. Goes to Renee Payne. You've all heard about the book Positively 4th Street. Joey Westlink. Give away more stuff later.
All right. That's not mine. Mine's got a tiger top. You what? Oh, okay. So it's pretty close, though, huh? You think they broke into your house and got it? On their way here? Okay. All right. Jamie said, that's my guitar. What are they doing with it? Okay, we've got Greg and Jean next here. Stand. Sit.
Well, she's going to sit too.
I'll sit too.
Okay, we'll give another chair.
Okay, cool. You want to be on that side, don't you?
I want to be on this side.
Yes.
So you take this one. This one. Thank you.
We've had to shake up our lineup. People took our songs. So you've heard the words. We'll hear some other words.
That's your microphone. There we go. That should work just fine.
All right, let's give that guitar a strum.
Okay.
We'll see what comes out. You're going to use that one too?
There we go.
Okay.
I'm good. Stay back. It's called Masters of War, written in 1963. Masters of War, build all the guns. Hear the build the dead planes. Hear they build the big bombs. They hide behind walls. Hide behind desks. I just want you to know I can see through your mask. Done destroy, play with my world like it's your little toy. Put a gun in my hand, hide in my heart, and you take me further fast forward time. Judas of war, lying deceit. The world war can be won. You want us to believe, but I see through your eyes, and I see through your brain, like I see the water that runs out. How much can I say? Talk out of turn. Say that I'm young. Say I'm unlearned. One thing I know, much better than you. Even Joseph would never forget what you did. Oh, I hope that you die. Your death will come soon. I will follow your casket in the pale afternoon. I'll watch while you're lowered down to your bed, and I'll stand till I'm sure that you're dead. All right,
Thank you.
let me retune this thing. We're going to keep them up. And There is one song that nobody else did yet. It's called People Are Crazy and Times Are Strange, which is totally right on for today with son. Dylan is like prescient in so many of his songs, like Masters of War. I tune for your listening pleasure. Man with a worried mind. No one in front of me and nothing behind. There's a woman on my lap and she's drinking champagne. She's got white shoes, got assassin's eyes. I'm looking up into the sapphire tinted skies. I'm well dressed, waiting on the last train. Just don't show it. You can hurt someone, not even know it. Next, I get as far away from myself as I can.
You tricked me.
I'm gonna get down low, gonna fly high. All the truth in the world adds up to one big lie. You can't win with a losing hand. Mr. Jinx and Mr. Steve, they jumped in the lake. Not that eager to make a mistake. People are crazy and times are strange. I'm locked in time, I'm out of range. I used to care, things have changed. People are crazy and times are strange. I'm locked in time, I'm out of range. I used to care, but have changed.
Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Greg and Jean Thompson there. Emily was wandering around asking the audience for their favorite, Dylan song, and maybe now's the time to come up and tell us what you found out. As she's making her way up, if you turn to that camera and wave, the TV audience is going to leave us. Good night. All right. Come on up.
Okay, I'll start off by saying no one wanted to answer this question because no one wanted to pick a favorite. But we do have a variety. Blowing in the Wind, Times They Are Changin', One Too Many Mornings, Midnight, The Times They Are Changin', It Always Seems to Be Relevant, Lay Lady Lay, Hey Mr. Tambourine Man, Along the Watchtower, another Blowing in the Wind. Next we have someone who didn't pick a favorite. We have Desolation Row, or Tangled Up in Blue, or It Ain't Me, Babe. Then we have Ballad of the Thin Man, and Tombstone Blues. So those were the answers for tonight.
Emily, like Maya, is here every Thursday night helping us hold the place together. And tonight, busy making milkshakes, it looked like. Yeah. So we have this system where we go into the kitchen, close the door, and make them in there, and you hardly even know that we have really old milkshake machines, but they're very noisy. So, and they look really great, you know, they're antiques. Let's see, Maya, why don't you come up and give away the rest of our stash for tonight. And then Donna will be after that, and then Nathan after that.
Okay, so we've got 3 more CDs. First one is Good As I've Been to You. Those 2. Jean Thompson. And then Love and Theft, or Greg Thompson. And finally, Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits, Volume 3. Seth Prunty.
All right, thank you, Maya. After Bob moved to Minneapolis, he started playing in a coffee house, not about this same size, called the 10 O'Clock Scholar. You may know the children's nursery rhyme, a diller, a dollar, a 10 o'clock scholar. It's this kid who's always late for school, but he's got really great excuses. Wonderful excuses about why he's late every single day. Anyway, this is a little coffee house where lots of local people played. And at first, Bob played mostly other people's songs. But Dave Ray of Kerner, Ray, and Glover, a blues trio from Minneapolis, Dave Ray claims some credit for getting Dylan to do some of his own songs. He was trying out the name Dylan. His last name is Zimmerman, but he was trying out Dylan. He tried it out D-I-L-L-O-N, and then he read some Dylan Thomas poetry, so he tried D-Y-L-A-N. Anyway, so he was doing some songwriting, and Dave had been listening to him at the coffee house, and he was playing mostly on his own and with a guy who's still around.